If you think about how central government can increase fiscal spending to help the economy, there is the official deficit, and that is what the last year's 1 trillion RMB additional central government bond is about, changing the deficit. There is a special bond, and these special bonds don't enter official deficit, and usually they require projects with a certain cash flow versus the official budget. You can spend on things that have no cash flow, future cash flows. But in the end, this will be spent on investment and infrastructure. And there are other tools they can utilize as well. So under special bonds, this is the central government special bonds versus we also have a local government special bonds. So I would characterize it as, number one, this is one of the many fiscal instruments the government can utilize. And number two, this is consistent with the view that demand is weak and central government is best positioned to provide the needed demand in the economy right now. And certainly, earlier we had the 1 trillion central government bond you mentioned and the PSL on central bank balance sheet. And now there's a report about 1 trillion of central government special bond, but all point to the right direction.
And Hui, I was reading some articles about what you were talking about in terms of GDP growth. We were talking about that 5.2 that Li Chang mentioned. I think you said that given the base effects from the year before, that accounts for a 2 percentage point difference. So given that, can they sustain that kind of growth for this year, given that they're not going to have that favourable base effect?
Right, that's the point we have been trying to make, that even though last year the government successfully achieved the growth target of 5% real GDP growth, that 5% versus this year's, supposedly they also want to set a target of 5%. The two 5% are very different. You think about 2023, you were out of zero COVID policy, mechanically got this big boost in activity, and that's not going to repeat itself this year. So that's the key point we're trying to make. If you tease out that 2 points of reopening boost, assuming last year's GDP growth overall 5.2, in reality you only had a 3.2 growth if you tease out that huge reopening boost. So you're really climbing from that 3.2 to whatever this year's growth target you want to achieve rather than the 5.2.